I was deleting some space on my computer, and I don't know how much space my computer has left. Anyway, on to the 2.5 hour left of. I get a double notification on my own video that it's happening. So it's 2.5 hour remaining of the day after the Ff7. Since I couldn't do it yesterday because of multiple reasons. It's very interesting. Ff7 is a very interesting game. It came out after Ff6. It was attributed to the success of 3D JRPGs, although I would argue that is probably not necessarily true. The Sega Saturn actually did have. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to cover here, which I don't have a conclusion for, but is a lot of stuff I think about when I think about Final 7, and a lot of stuff people don't talk about. The 3DO had JRPGs, mainly in Japan, not really in America, but still. Lucian's Quest was adapted into the US, but still. There's some people saying that I'm doing the Ff7 podcast. Sega Saturn, they had Ronde, they had all the FMV stuff, they had Time Gal, no, not Sega CD, but Lunar for Sega CD, Pop Full Mail. I don't know the chronology, but like, you can obviously attribute JRPGs to other consoles. And they easily could have been on those other consoles. TurboGrafx even had Pop Full Mail. I don't know if it's the same one as the Sega CD, but something. Get back to it later. I also get why there's a lot of hate for Final 7. No one. This is just the thing I thought about now. No one complains about Terra being this emo person who's complaining about losing her memories. Was a soldier. So many things like Cloud. She's pretty much Cloud, except an Esper. Yeah, no one complains. Quite honestly, Cloud's story isn't much to complain about either. He has a nice sense of humor. He has romances he likes. In the beginning, thinks about having a girlfriend, unlike... Oh, sort of in the beginning, not so much, like in the soldier thing. When he's on the missions, but still. Let's see if no one's here. See if I have my Final Fantasy t-shirt from San Diego Comic Con. It's not 7, but still good to have. I should probably wear it even. Double t-shirt. Both square anyway. Okay, Final Fantasy t-shirt. So anyway. So many things about Final Fantasy 7 that people don't complain about. Not a lot of people critique or think about the game, honestly. Except probably the most dedicated fans, though, speedrunners and all that. It's sort of a broken game how it has a 777 thing. How it has like the Materia Keeper, Chihuahua being the Materia Keeper. The W item glitch breaks the game. A lot of stuff at the time broke the game. So you wonder about most people criticize the game because it's too easy, which doesn't necessarily make it a bad game. Because people like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, even was not the most liked. People like, I mean, well, it was definitely a turning point, but like I don't know. Final Fantasy 7, I guess, for its hate, is probably the most easiest game in casual play. Final Fantasy 8 is really hard in casual play because the more you level up in that game, the harder it is. Final Fantasy 9 is just hard in general. It is one of the easier Final Fantasies, which is why it gets criticism. But it doesn't mean it's a bad game, it just means it's an easy game. The military system is a lot of fun to use. I don't know, probably all the tricks have been found, but like there's so many things that I didn't find out till later playing the game. And part of the reason why is because the game's so easy, like if you're just gonna mess around, you don't really need to link it with anything else. Linking it is mainly for using it to beat the weapons, and that's about it, because everything else is pretty much beatable in one hit with Knights of the Round. There was the whole programming 32-bit issue for the numbers. There's a lot of cool hidden tricks. The mini games are fun. The date mechanic is fun. Persona 5 is praised so heavily because the date mechanic that came from Final Fantasy 7. A lot of stuff from Persona 5, which I might as well talk about this year since it came out this year, is from Final Fantasy 7. Not Final Fantasy 5. Persona 5, Final Fantasy 7. The date mechanic. You have this character who's probably inspired by Cloud. That's an appearance. Skull with his weapon and his blonde hair. You have the teenager thing, emo, JRPG. I mean, I haven't really followed other Personas of Shin Megami Tensei, but it's probably started from the same stuff. You have big boss fights, other stuff. On to the next point, just so I don't pause too long. The game, I really like how they set up the game. You go to the first mission, back to Avalanche HQ, second mission, then you unlock Eris's area, Wall Market, Don Corneo's place. Probably should do it with the fingers visible on the screen. You save Eris, or you try to save, you fight, try to help Avalanche, get to save Eris, and do the whole Midgar HQ, Shinra HQ situation, which is like a whole bunch of steps. Each floor is a step. That's just great game design there. I sort of see how they had the Parasite Eve theme going, because like I think Parasite Eve unlocks stuff on floors in the skyscraper, and I sort of see that in Shinra HQ and that part of Midgar. Then you leave Midgar, go to Calm, can't go back to Midgar, which is pretty cool. That's get build up later, which I'll mention later. Do the flashback sequence. I forget why they go to Junon, but they go for the caves. Yeah, it's very confusing why they do that. I'll think about it later. Mithril Caves. Fort Condor, optional, but still very fun, and you end up doing Junon. You do the parade thing, which was pretty cool, and then the dance. Save Priscilla before that. Should have done this in order. Oh well. Go up the pipe. After a while, you end up at Castle del Sol. After you defeat Genova, after you find out that Sephiroth's on the ship, then you go to Coral, you find out about Barret. You go for Gold Saucer, actually, then you go to Coral. Because of the whole Barret sequence, which unlocks that sequence. You go find Barret. You go settle the score with Barret. Or you could do a whole bunch of side quest stuff, like finding a whole bunch of optional enemies along the way. Or you could get lost. The whole sandworm place. Then you get the buggy so you can go across the Coral continent for a small stream. Because before you couldn't cross because the game blocked you from that, which is pretty cool. Wow, that's pretty fast. You can go to Gongaga, or you could just go to the Cosmic Canyon. Both options. You find the trucks along the way, by the way. And those unlock stuff. You can unlock a sequence with Scarlet. You can unlock a sequence. There's also the Sherman HQ stuff. Very interesting. Go to Cosmic Canyon, because your car breaks down. Then when you go to Cosmic Canyon, they'll fix your car, and then you can keep going. Go to Nibelheim. Have the option of either doing more stuff, Vincent. Oh, I forgot about Yuffie. That's an interesting mechanic too, and then you get the date mechanic. You have a whole bunch of data options. Locking Vincent, getting the Odin materia. There's a speedrun route too. Go for Mount Nibel, fight Materia Keeper, who's blocking the way on the way to Rocket Town. Rocket Town, you find out unlocks the sequences where you can go back to Golden Saucer, get a Keystone. Then you find out about the Keystone, etc. Awesome. Then you go to Temple Agents. Then you go for that maze, which is sort of linear, even though this looks tricky. Go to the clock thing. Fight the toads. See if I can rename it. Maybe that'll make more people join. Then I guess, yeah, you beat the bosses. You beat the Red Dragon. You beat the Demon's Wall. Then, which gives you the Black Materia sequence. Get the Sephiroth, which allows you to go back to the Bone Village if you haven't been to the Bone Village before, so you can do the Lunar Harp thing, go through the Forbidden Forest or whatever it's called, then go to the City of the Ancients, go to the sleep sequence, and then do the special event where you go to the place where what's her name dies, and then find the final boss, which doesn't unlock disc 2, because there's 3 discs here, mind you, very important. Very innovative how it's really cool. Final Fantasy 7. they had there's a whole story about the space thing, but just how they set up the box by itself. You open each thing of the jewel case, and there's like a disc on it. It's like a book, and that's just great presentation. And although it's annoying that each part of the game is on a different disc, there's a bit of great presentation there, which is really cool. It feels like a collector's item because the breakable glass, unfortunately, and on the back it says the greatest game of all time by Game Fan, and like you have these discs because you really have to market the disc thing, and I wonder if this played a factor into it becoming one of the biggest video games of all time, selling JRPGs of all time and games of all time. Probably the best at the time until Pokemon came out. If you know anything about emulation, Final Fantasy VII and all the 3D JRPGs are really hard to play on a PlayStation emulator. And there's so much more display on those than like a smaller JRPG. Maybe they should chew the fat a little bit there, but it just showed you like this was something special. So anyway, take the second disc out, put it in, and then it unlocks a whole bunch of other stuff. You stay there for a while, go through the Icicle Inn sequence, learn about the girls and gas past. Then you go snowboarding, and then you go for the sequences, and you get lost, and then figure out the way, and then maybe you get Alexander. You have all these options, you get all these methods, etc. You shiver. Let me make sure I can see myself shivering. You shiver. Wow, that's so much funnier than seeing the camera. You shiver to make sure that you're warm in the game. It was a little mini game. It's a little bit annoying. It's not really important to the game, but you know it's cool. Imagine Uncharted, you can shiver to keep yourself warm. Something very interesting to think. Or Zelda Breath of the Wild, which came out this year, where you can shiver. I remember Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time came out this year, 1997, but I'll think about that too. Fight a few bosses like Schizo, like who else? A whole bunch of bosses on the way. You get some items. You get the 8 material slot sword for Cloud. Fight the Marlboro, and like the only place you can fight the Marlboro. Although you can get the ribbon before, which is good. Which is, I think you can get one before, but there's like a number one hidden, which helps your party, so you don't have 2 people knocking out your people. It's good for walkthrough purposes, Kamakura walkthrough purposes. Now, the game was very easy to walk through, like as Kamakura demonstrated. Obviously, it's complicated for some odd reason. A lot of people screwed up walkthroughing that. Final Fantasy VII ended up working out very well. What's his name before? So, you fight the Genova. After you fight Schizo, it unlocks the sequence, it unlocks this whole FMV, all this stuff about Cloud, very important stuff. Then you start in Junon. Then you have to escape Junon. You encounter a whole bunch of the characters throughout the game. Go save Tifa. Then you get the Highwind. And then you have all these options. Eventually you can save Cloud. Sort of like the Sid sequence. Go to a tie, which you could have done in disc 1. You can get, I forget when you can do that. You can do some extra gold saucer stuff. You go get the huge material quests. What a short disc. Basically do the huge material quests. Get the chocobo somewhere after that or during that. And then after you get all the huge material. Actually no. You get Safe Cloud somewhere along the way. For Condor, Phoenix, Junon, Underwater Cloud, Carrier Armor. Such an annoying boss. Unless you like level up to level 99 or something, like it's probably the most annoying boss in the game. Speedrun is very important. I want to talk about the speedrun, but I'm sort of getting tired. Trying to remember. The huge materia. You send the huge materia after you get the rocket down to try and stop Meteor. Big plot thing at the time. And it doesn't stop Meteor. So then you try and figure out a plan. Somewhere you save Midgar. I'm trying to remember if you do anything before that. Save Midgar. Oh, you go to Bugenhagen to go to the City of the Ancients. Some more stuff. And then you go to Midgard because that unlocks a whole bunch of stuff. That finishes up this 2. Or this 3, sorry. Then you pretty much finish the game with all the side quests. And everything to do with the whole Northern Crater after the Disc 2 crater thing, or Escalon thing. Long quests, split up, do a whole bunch of stuff. Then you rejoin, and then you have to set up a team. Somehow you can have the option of fighting with all the members of your team, but I don't know how to do that. And then you have one of the most epic endings of a game of all time. Later by Final Fantasy 8, later by Final Fantasy 9. Probably, yeah, Final Fantasy 7 to 9 had the best endings of all time. I never thought about that. That's something interesting to think about. And right now I'm tired, and I'll come back later with some notes on the rest of what was good with Final Fantasy 7. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, but I'm going to come back. I really like to celebrate the anniversary of Final Fantasy 7. I don't want to go into all the stuff that made it great, because there's so much to say, and I don't have enough time. I really want to organize it within 5 years to do it for the quarter anniversary of Final Fantasy 7. So I'll be back later, guys.